Hello. I am parked in front of the school because I had to pick up my camera. So I'm taking a break from my series of videos on rural America, and I thought let's visit rural America for a while instead. Mostly because I wanted to try out something new with this dash cam, and because it's a lot of research and it's just taken me a long time to get it all put together into a script. So this I can do off the top of my head. So I edited this kind of bullfrog style. Here I'm headed out to a regional cross country meet, which took place at the golf course south of town. I for some reason brought my camcorder along on this trip. I don't use a camcorder when I do sports photography, so I don't know why I threw it in the car, but I did, and it turned out to be a good thing, and you'll see why when we get to that place. But we'll head from here. I'm on Highway 85 again, and we'll head east on, let me see if I can find the road here real quick. I've got a map in front of me, and there is no name on the road, so we'll just call it a road. Anyway, we headed toward the Haley Dam, which is actually quite large. It's a lake made by a Civilian Conservation Corps, and you're going to see it, you're going to say, really? That's it? And I'm going to say, but look how dry it is here. For us, this is pretty darned awesome. So, anyway, I was experiencing some audio trouble earlier, so I hope I fixed that. But, so the whole rural America thing is not forgotten. I expect to have the next video up next Sunday for that. I have a job, and as much as I enjoy researching and putting that stuff together, I have to pay the bills, and I, care about my students, want to do right by them. So, rural America is just going to have to wait. But I can edit this together because I'm doing almost all of it from memory, except when we get to the town of Haley itself. I had a website that I used and got some history from. So there is the lake behind Haley Dam. There's a boat launch there. They call it the marina, but really it's not a marina. So any of you who live in an area with lots of lakes and such and recreational lakes, this isn't it. There's some camping around here, trailers and such. You can electrical hookups, some primitive camping, and then there's some picnic tables set up around so you can just drive out for the day and picnic. You pay to camp. But I guess you don't pay to go in and just sit at a picnic table, so that's good. I also attempted to do a little bit of video with my camcorder, kind of showing the lake. I am not good at that. I'll just be honest with you. This was a complete disappointment to me. I don't know how to capture the feeling of a lake on video. It just looks flat and uninteresting. The only thing I did that I liked is I got some good footage. Not here. I had to wipe this audio. I got some good footage later on when I was sheltered from the wind. Sound of waves lapping on the shore, which I love that sound. I mean, I'd love to live by that sound. But anyway, so this is the lake. It's large-ish, especially for around here. Not very deep, but whatever. And like I said, that audio there was unusable due to wind noise. And I didn't have my lapel mic with me because, like I said, I don't even know why I threw the camcorder in the car. I hadn't even planned to do this trip. It just kind of came to me on spur of a moment. But anyway, one of the highlights of this trip to me, two bald eagles. You'll be seeing that after my narration. I actually got out of the car and talked to the camera here. They're in that yellow tree up ahead. And camcorder got them. My regular camera could not get them. Hey, so I'm down here at Haley Dam. The sideways thing behind me. There we go. And I just thought it'd be kind of fun to come down here. I was at a cross-country race and came down here after. So, giving you a look around, I thought, well, I have some footage of some bald eagles, and hopefully I'm going to get to Haley, North Dakota yet. And that's kind of a cool little town. So that's the other highlight. I find that I like water. I like the sound of water. I like the looks of water. But I have a really hard time photographing it. So I'm not real thrilled with what I photographed or filmed here. But the bald eagles, hopefully that footage works out. So there they are, and of course you can hear the lake in the background. My regular camera, has a 200mm lens. Couldn't pick them up. The picture is terrible. But when I moved closer, hoping I could get a good photograph, they flew off. So, but that was cool. And these are the waves that were making the sound. A little bit of editing there just to get the sound over top of some of the other stuff. So just give you a quick look along the shore right here. It's fall. It wasn't an amazing fall. North Dakota isn't known for its fall leaves, sad to say, but it's North Dakota. We're lucky to have any trees at all, especially down here where it's so dry. So all good things must end, so I pulled out and headed back. Just give you a little more of a view of the lake, and you can kind of see the dam in the background there. It doesn't look like much. I was actually going to do a close-up of the dam, and then as I was pulling out, I forgot all about it till I got halfway to Haley, and I'm just like, well, too late for that one. Down here is what they call the marina. This is where the boat launch is. There's actually a bar/restaurant here that I'm not sure the full story. It's gone through a whole string of people managing it. I don't even know who's in it right now. I did see there was an open sign on it, but then other times I've gone down there with friends and it's just like, oh, we drove all this way to eat out and it's closed, so don't bother going back. So I came back up north to the highway, which immediately turned back to gravel, continued east. This is kind of a pleasant drive normally. It's under some construction right now. And there's lots of large chunks of gravel here, so I had to go a little slow and carefully. There's some of the equipment in question. And headed on to Haley, which this is a way to get to Haley. Honestly, if you want to go to Haley, the easiest way is how I'm going to come back. Go to Scranton, North Dakota. And instead of turning onto Highway 12, just head straight south out of Scranton. And don't deviate till the road turns. And you'll go right through Main Street, Haley. You'll be on this road right here, actually. So, I headed down to Haley. Here's when I said till the road deviates. Here's it deviating. It does a turn. It'll do another turn up ahead. I'm going to stop here at the cemetery and give you a look at Haley from the distance. And then I'm going to turn on a website that is helpful because it actually gives some story and stuff about Haley. And I will link to it down below so that you can read it for yourself. And I won't vouch for the accuracy of the website, but it's more information than I found anywhere else about Haley. So I think somebody kind of as a hobby toured around Haley and interviewed people and such. I actually turns out I know the people that live just south of Haley. I did not know that. I did not know they lived there. So went into the cemetery. It's up on a hill above Haley. And I always kind of like these signs. They're just sort of neat. Anyway, walked hopefully respectfully through the cemetery. It's not a very large cemetery. It looks like it's maintained, not regularly, but enough to keep it decent. And there we're overlooking the valley where Haley is located, because this cemetery is up high. That's Haley, off there in the distance. And zoom in, and you can see it. There's not much left. This is one of North Dakota's ghost towns. There's a bridge that no longer... it's still there. It still crosses the water, but it's no longer used. It's in a pasture. Old general store. There's a hotel/post office. There's a church. There's a school. And a couple other random buildings that are just kind of abandoned. And that's it. This is a place that's pretty much out by itself. Incidentally, I ran the first part of the driving footage at 720p. After I pull out here, I've discovered a setting, switched it to 180p, which is what the camcorder uses. So we'll see if it makes a difference. I'll talk about that when I come back here because we're about to get some camcorder footage. But anyway, I parked down here kind of by the school and walked around. And I'll try to keep the natural audio, but it's just a lot of wind noise. And I will narrate with this microphone here. So Haley is one of the oldest established town, is the oldest established town in Bowman County. So that's kind of neat. Although I guess only 2 people live there. You might hear my printer in the background. But anyway, so Haley was actually supposed to be named Gailey in honor of a miner, or prospector I should say, that's the school, who found gold in the nearby Grand River. But there was a clerical error at the post office, so it was called Haley instead. It was part of Billings County originally, but in 1907, when Bowman County was organized, then it became Bowman County. Now, this is all from the same source. Richard Ludlow Jackson operated a post office out of a sod home then, and was engaged in ranching here somewhere. You may have actually heard of a nearby town in South Dakota called Ludlow. But the town was actually put here because the first settlers, this is the church, which is still in use, the first settlers believed that the Milwaukee Railroad was going to follow the river. Surprise, surprise, it didn't. It went to the north through Bowman, Scranton, Marmarth, and all those towns. The town, this Richard Ludlow Jackson built a hotel out of sod, and it was actually, I guess, just west of Haley, according to this article. And I wish I would have known while I was there, because this article says that the crumbled walls of the old hotel are still discernible. I guess it was a popular stopping place on the road from Dickinson to Camp Crook and Black Hills. There's also a stop on the Dickinson-Belfouche stage line. I'm quoting all of this. Here, many a traveler enjoyed his genial hospitality, his jovial manner and popularity won friends from far and near. The town actually had a newspaper called the Haley Record, 1911 up through at least 1916. This here is became a hotel later, and then even later it became the post office. But yeah, this really was a hotel at one time. So that's kind of cool. Post office itself closed in 1965. So yeah, that's interesting also. There's the outhouse behind the hotel, and slash post office thing. Had a gent's side and a ladies, but the ladies' side has fallen off. Okay. Really bad intro to a bridge, but this bridge, I will come back to that. A little bit of history to the bridge. And then there's some other buildings. There was a fire in the 1940s actually ravaged the town and burned a lot of stuff down. 1921. Also, there was look at that. The doctor in town ended up being killed in October 27th, 1918 by the flu pandemic that followed the First World War. And I'm going to jump back to the store because the cat is actually standing in front of the old store. So the store was owned by a guy named Oliver Ellingson, and there was a saloon nearby called Boar's Head. Apparently it was a pretty wild place with like gunshots going off and so on. Ellingson used to tell a story about a cowboy coming into the store and told him to dance while he shot holes in the floor. And he apparently used to take off his shoe and show his missing toe. Who knows if that's true. The founder died in 1915 at the age of 73. And, but things slowed down. This store, the reason I'm spending so much time on this store is it's believed to be the oldest building in Bowman County. Of course, back then, building records weren't really a thing, but I found the stone construction interesting. And there, look at all the swallows' nest along it. But if nobody takes care of it, there's the roof going. I jumped right up on my roof and fixed it where water was coming in. They're not, and I can see where the wall was bowing out. So this little piece of history may be gone before long. Water does a number on these things. Showing the old pressed tin siding there. I just thought it was cool. For a while, there were two people living just to the north of this, and well, there's a trailer there in another building. I don't know if anyone is currently living there, but there are some people who live just south of Haley. But the church is open. It's just not a lot of people there anymore. Now you'll see a bridge here, just a quick shot down the town. But the bridge was built in 1910 over the Grand River, A.Y. Burnham, Minneapolis. It's on concrete footings, and it's a double-planked roadway, and no longer used for traffic. And a historical association was formed in this area to actually preserve this span of the bridge when the county wanted to dismantle it. But be careful. No trespassing here. This is private property. So here I made the switch from 720p to 1080p. My personal feeling, I didn't notice much improvement in image quality, but what I did notice is the video becomes a lot choppier. It's like it's not doing quite as good of a frame rate. That could be my opinion. I'm curious to see what you think. I'll just jump back to the store for a minute. I think I said it was opened by John Curry in 1900. It still stands. The town used to have a hotel, which you saw became a post office. There used to be a bank there. There was a butcher, blacksmith, doctor, and barber. The thing is, like a lot of rural towns, there just weren't the people to support it. So I'm headed north here towards Scranton. I only put this piece in just because the White House looked kind of cool with the sun on it in the shade. I guess Haley was pretty wild. They talk about shootouts on Main Street and so on in this article. But there's just not a lot there, so it's an agricultural town. As transportation became better, as farms became larger, there just weren't the people to support the place. According to this website, it's owned. Most of the town is owned by a descendant of an early homesteader and his wife. And I guess there's two people living there. And now we're coming into Scranton, North Dakota, but I'm not going to Scranton. I'm headed home. There was road construction along the way. And you can see that they're resurfacing the highway, and you can see it's all ripped off. That was interesting. I ended up having to wait for 10 or 15 minutes at one spot while before I could go and follow a pilot car in. So that was annoying. But I got home in time to grocery shop. But I'm going to show you a little bit of that, even though it doesn't have much to do with the topic. See those grain elevators up there? So when I said that Haley expected the railroad to come through and follow the Grand River, it didn't. Here's where it went through. Here's the road construction. So the reason that they have all those elevators is they're along the railroad. Scranton Equity is quite a large grain elevator. And those missile silo style elevators are quite the thing, I guess, for loading lots of trains really quickly. So I waited here 10 minutes. But anyway, that's part of what did Haley in. Now, the railroad also, while it established all these towns along here, see, I told you I waited a while. See how light changed? Although the railroad established all the towns along here, it put them too close together. I think this was for the convenience of the railroad and the old steam trains, as I understand it. But as the diesel-electric engines took over and they didn't need to stop for water so much, a lot of the train stops disappeared. In fact, the automobile helped kill the train service. So the train doesn't even stop at a lot of the towns anymore. And there's no passenger rail here. It's all freight. And yeah, the whole thing is gone. Now, there's quite a lot to be said for the freedom of a car, but at the same time, I think it'd be nice if I could just hop on a train and just not have to drive and do other stuff. Because one of the troubles living out here is it is so flippin' far to anything. I mean, I edited this down, but if you've been paying attention to the timestamps, this has been a long voyage. And I didn't even go that far. I just, that's another reason I don't go anywhere very often, is it just takes too long. And I know people have it worse than me. I just don't like to drive. I would rather walk or let somebody else do the driving. There are times and places it's fun to drive, but for the most part, for just business or for daily life, somebody else do it. Here's something else I don't like. None of this was here when I moved to this town. We got a department store there. It used to be on Main Street. We have a hardware store there. Oh, used to be on Main Street. I could walk to them. And just beyond here, where I'm going to park, we used to have a grocery store on Main Street. There is still one there, but it doesn't have much selection, so I will go there. I go out to this one like once a week, and then I go to that other one for my regular staples. But yeah, this is a nice store. It has a nice selection, but it's not in town. It's a long walk out here. So, do I drive? So, I hate that. I just want to walk. And I would like the town back that I moved to where I can walk to everything. And everything's right there on Main Street. But most people aren't like me. Most people drive. They hop in their car to drive from one store to another. I mean, people will park at this store, then they drive to the next one, even though it's just one parking lot over. That's not me. Now, I did walk out here. I do sometimes. The weather has to be nice. I once made the mistake of walking out here in the winter, and yeah, I won't do that again because all the fruit and vegetables I bought were frozen by the time I got home, and I'm lucky no cans or anything burst too, because it was about 2 degrees when I did the walk. I mean, I was bundled up well. I know what I'm doing in the cold. Just apparently not the grocery end of it. So, I just thought I'd give you a quick look at a newer part of our residential area, because I'm going to stop at the post office. And so I guess, I could whine, but I can walk out there if I want. It just helps if it's in nicer weather. And they don't make it easy. I mean, you have to walk along the highway. I don't know. I just don't get why people want to drive everywhere. And maybe in that respect, maybe I'd be happier in a city where I could walk everywhere because everything is right there instead of spread out from here to kingdom come. But then on the other hand, I like my peace and quiet, and I'd actually almost rather live outside of town where it's really quiet. But then I couldn't walk to anything, so how do you win? In a small town, I guess there's less people, so less noise, but I don't know. See, I don't get why people think they need to have their stereo up really loud in their car so that not only they hear it, but everybody else does. Why they have to run their radio super loud at the house so everybody in the neighborhood can enjoy listening to what they're listening to. The lawn mowing noise is annoying, but I know it's necessary. Not at my house because I don't have a motor on my lawnmower, but still, I get that. I know some people use leaf blowers instead of rakes. I can live with all that. And I'm probably just grumpy now. I don't know. I would like the convenience of living in town without the noise. If that makes any sense. Driving up, this is Main Street I'm about to pull onto. I'll cut most of this out because you don't really care. But yeah, to your left, that's the grocery store that moved out of town. To the right is the movie theater, which may be closing down. Another business to die on Main Street. I will admit I don't support the movie theater because I don't go to movies, so I guess it's my fault in part that the movie theater's failing. This is Highway 85. Really glad I don't live there, because then you get lots of traffic noise. At least where I live, it's just the occasional person going by. Got to watch out for the Lutherans when their church service lets out. Got to watch out for the school. Other than that, it's mostly pretty quiet where I live. So back in the hood, you're actually not going to see my piece of the hood. I came at it differently. So, yep, there's a corner of my piece of the hood. And, yeah. So, hope that was interesting. Hope you enjoyed your little trip to Haley. I'll be back next week with my Rural America. Like I said, it's just a lot of research. I have to edit the audio together and make a script and everything, and it just takes time. So, this is a little late, but hey, it's here. So, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.